before you start, because I know there's some of you who start way before the demonstration, I want you to have a look and see. Now, we teach this so many times, but there's always a slight difference here and there with the technique. Now, I want you to see that you take your feet together and your knees together. So your legs are together. All right, so when you come up into the action, you are spreading your toes in this way. And then you're going to come forward and you're going to see how much you can lift the back of the thigh. Now you want the back of the thigh to push back really strongly. So you open the back of the creases, the back of the buttock bone. But what you don't want to do is to drop down. So here you are, this is it. You want to see that you go on extending those buttock bones back. So actually your stance becomes a lot wider. Now you've got two legs together, so you really want to use those legs so that they are connecting very, very strongly. And then releasing. All right, so it's your turn now. Take those feet together, take your hands a little bit forward, and then see that you get that action. So you don't want to just fold at the ankle. You want to see that there's a lot more action going on there. So you want to see that the actual back thigh is being affected here. So you've got to press so much into your arms, push so much back, keep the actions, soft inhalation and exhalation. Keep that opening so much. Keep the opening of the buttock, opening of the back leg. Keeping all of this nicely. All right, so once you get there, even if the heels aren't down, see if you can give one more extension, All right, and then release in. So anybody struggling with that weight bearing, then of course you can use a chair and still come into the same action. All right, so what we're going to do, I'm going to take myself back to the wall. Now this isn't essential, but it's quite a nice way of working. So I'm going to take myself back to the wall, just move some of my props out the way. All right, now I'm going to lean back onto the wall. If you've got a wall nearby, then that's good. If not, don't, it's not the end of the world, but it just gives me an opportunity, a little bit of an opportunity to find this groin again, this area here. So you could notice I've got my leg slightly bent. So what I want to do here is to see that I move this inner thigh, try to move it forward towards the front edge of the mat. So I'm getting more of a rotation. I'm going to try and move this area forward so you get more of a rotation. Now when you come over into the action, you want to see that you get more of a lift of the groin. You get more of a lift of the buttock. The buttock needs to lift up. So you're getting an Uttanasana action with this leg. I think we've been mentioning this in the last few weeks. So you've got to pull up very strongly and see how much can you get that rotation of that front thigh. How much can you rotate? Now here's the challenge. You're in this action, trying to work on this rotation. This back leg, the middle of the thigh, has got to push back. Now a lot of people make this mistake. They just push this leg back, push it back. No, you've got to see that this leg, this inner thigh, lifts up and you push the outer foot bone. And you come into this action and then release in. Well done. All right, okay. So then we turn the feet. All right, so we come to the other side. Now remember, what we're doing is we're trying to get these legs, one's rotating and one is pushing back. But we just don't push back with the knee itself. We've got to see that we push back and out, and then see, can we get rotation of the thigh this way to try to get that moving back of the thigh. You can see that moves back rather than moving back. See the difference? So when you come into this action again, you want to see that this middle thigh area moves towards the front edge of the mat, the front edge of the mat. And then we come into this hinging action, hinging action. I'm going to put my hand onto the brick for the minute. All right, now you want to see that this front leg buttock lifts up, so you want to use the wall. Now, this leg wants to come with it. He wants to say hi, wants to come towards that area. So now we have to see that we sharpen the action in the back foot very strongly. We get the groin action, and then we see from the inner thigh, imagine there's a seam from the inner thigh. Can you move the seam back to the wall and rotate it? So you get a really strong action, a wrapping action of that back leg. This is a very strong action, detail. So you come into this action, front buttock bone is lifting, and this back leg, so working with me, you can have a look at the video, stop the video, do it again, and then get this rotation. Okay, so you get the idea that this is a really strong leg. All right, so now what we're going to come for is, again, looking at how we're coming into these lateral poses. So have a look and see. So what we're going to do is take ourselves back to our laboratory, so the wall. You need the wall for this action. So I'm going to turn the leg again. So what I want to do is, before I bend this leg, I want to get this rotation. This middle thigh's got to be moving forward, but you don't want to drop onto the instep. And this is one of the mistakes that happens as soon as you start getting rotation. Whoa, the leg goes. So you want to really sharpen that action on the outer foot bone, but you want to see that this area is coming forward. So there's quite a lot going on. This area, you get in this rotation action so that the middle thigh is going back. Then what we want to do is to bend the leg. Now I've got my little elbow here, just rolling down the wall in this way, so it's quite nice actually. So get in this action. So still think about that divide. So I want to come over this way. I want the armpit to be really in line with the knee as much as possible. So I'm in this position. My elbow is touching, elbow lower, arm is touching, so I'm getting this action. Now see if you can get that rotation with the back leg, and see if you can connect with bringing this middle thigh forward and stamping more into your outer foot bone. Then we take the arm up and we take the arm over. Yeah, so hopefully this is bringing a little bit more work into your Parsvakonasana. So come on then, if you haven't already, or if you're in the middle of doing, then just be there for a moment. All right, well done. So we go to the other side now. So the other side may be your tricky side. I know this side is a little bit more difficult for me. So again, we want to see that we're getting this connection, this inner thigh is moving forward. You're getting that really nice rotation of the front thigh, being in this position. And then as we come forward, you want to see that you're coming forward, you're not dropping into your outer hip. So if you've got a stiff outer hip, you kind of drop back into it. You want to see that this middle thigh is coming towards the end of the mat, like this. So see that we get this action. And then we want to see that we get that really nice reach. And again, I've got my elbows there. So you want to get that really nice reach in this position. And then see, are you able to get that rotation of the back leg and this connection with the front leg? And then we go up with the arm and over. And looking up. Okay, so let's see how you fare on this one. Come on then, if you haven't already, get going, get doing. Yeah, this is it. So you can stay in it for a little bit longer when you're here, when you're on this support. It's really helpful. Okay, so hopefully all of you have done, and just slowly come up. Stand in a good Tadasana. All right, so just have a look here now. So when we come for the next action, I want you to come for Ardha Chandrasana. Oh, hard one. So what we're going to do is take the brick here and have the wall again. So when we come for this action, just pause in this position. See if you can push and rotate that back leg. See if you can move that outer hip in, and then see, are you able to connect with this action? And taking your head back if you can. So for me, I'm just going around the corner. It's really quite nice for my neck. So come on then, if you haven't already, try and find the back of a door, back of a unit, somewhere you can just put your back to, and it really does feel quite good, quite nice. Yeah? Okay, let's go to the other side. And remember, you've got to reach for this. You've got to reach. So when we come for this, you want to see that you're reaching in the same way as you would if you were in the middle of the room. So again, I'm just pushing myself a little bit away from the wall to get this rotation in. You can see this leg doesn't want to play ball. So I'm going to say, can I get that rotation? Yes, I can. And then extend in this position, Ardha Chandrasana. Such a nice way to work. Okay, and releasing. All right, so we come for the full action. We come for the full action. All right, just have a look at the screen. Now, don't run off and do your own thing yet. Okay, you can always use the wall again, no problem. But just have a look. So I'm coming into this action, turning the leg, coming into the Trikonasana action, really trying to get those connections. Then taking the hand. I'm going to take the hand down and I want to reach forward. Now, I've got to see that I lift this back groin, lift the front groin. So both groins, if you've got that brick between the thigh, have got to be working. And then you lift up. You lift up. And get that action. So you've got to see both groins are working. And then you lift the arm. Then it's a big step back. Big step back, and we come for a really nice Trikonasana, which is all about these actions. Notice I haven't straightened my leg yet, and now it comes. I want to see that, get that rotation of the back leg. So Trikonasana comes eventually with connection. Okay, and then coming up. So what's really interesting about this is that that reach really comes from the groins. Now you can reach onto a chair, put your hand onto a chair. This is no problem at all. Or you can try a brick, or you can go back to the wall. So there's lots of different options here. All right, come on then with me. stand at the end of your mat, try to get some space. You only need a mat space, but it's where you position yourself. You need to go towards the end of the mat when you do this. All right, so coming into this action, rotating this thigh, rotating the back thigh, the front thigh should I say, and coming into the action. Okay, then hand down, bending the leg. Now you're going to reach that arm. You want to see that the groins are moving very deeply in. And then you pick the leg up. And then you see, can you extend up? Can you extend up? And then it's a big step down, big step down. And see if you can come into a better Trikonasana from these actions. That rotation of the thigh, pulling up at the buttock. And then we come into the action. Okay, well done. And coming up. All right, so hopefully you got there in some way or other. And now we come into the other side. So coming into the other side, seeing that you're coming into that reaching position eventually after your Trikonasana action. So get your leg really nice and straight in Trikonasana, and then soften it and then reach, and then see, can you draw those body groins really deeply into the body. And then take that back leg up. Complete concentration is required. Oh, it's such a challenging pose, but such a good pose as well for the hips, the groins, the rotations, the rinsing of the thighs. All of this is really quite good for the body. All right, so when you've done, you've got that balance, you've managed it, then come out of the pose with control. Come on, just with control. Straighten those legs in Trikonasana. Wait there. Okay, and all the way up and all the way out. Okay, well done. So we're coming into this action, I love it, where we come into a Setu Bandha action. So I normally sit on my foam pads. You might want to go a little less than this, or some people go a little bit higher, but this suits me. And just sitting onto the foam pads. So you want to sit onto the foam pads and get there. Now to come into it, you want to drop down. You want to drop down. So you want to drop off of the support, so that the support, you can see here, it is supporting my lower back region. So I want that lower back region to be supported. And then extending the legs out, if that is possible, if your back allows you to come into this action. So there's no restrictions there. So just extend those legs away from you. You need to come off of 4, go down to 3, that's fine. And be in this position. So stay in this position. If it's comfortable, if your back's a little bit uncomfortable, then you can take yourself to the wall and have your legs so that they are in line with the wall. This works really, really well. Otherwise, be there for a little bit longer, moving your shoulders inwardly and opening your chest. So you need to puff your chest in this position. And just take a few longer, deeper inhalations and exhalations. Good. Okay, well done. And again, because this is pre-recorded, you can stay in this position for a little bit longer than perhaps the video or my instruction. If it's working really well for you, then stay there, no problem. For the rest of you, lift your pelvis and take the bricks out, the foam pads one by one, or all of them at the same time, and just let that back feel the surface, feel the floor surface, and just let yourself be there for a few moments. You don't want to start doing anything else at this moment in time. Just let the whole of the belly soften, the back muscles soften. Everything needs to be really nice and quiet.